Shalom, good afternoon, welcome to Jerusalem. I'm Avram Shira. All human beings experience rejection at all levels. The greatest and the smallest, the wealthiest, the poorest. Life is made with rejection. But I asked a question this morning on the way to Jerusalem. Is it rejection or redirection? If someone is not on a path, check out the people you're connected to. Check out the people that reject you. Are they on the path you want to be on? Do they think the way you think? Do they believe the way you believe? Do they behave the way you feel an adult in this world should behave? Maybe their rejection is God's redirection. When you see the light of those attachments that are not good for you, you'll thank the people for rejecting you. It turns the whole thing around. Now, there is pain in rejection. We all know that. But what is that pain? Is it the pain that I'm no good, I'm not good enough, she doesn't like me, he doesn't like me, the boss doesn't like me? No, that's the stuff we had to deal with in elementary school. Their calculations for rejecting you are their business, first of all. And second of all, I'm here to learn. So if someone rejects me, I need to ask myself a series of questions. Why did this happen? Did I know about this in the beginning and ignore it, deny it a little bit? Did I think twice before creating a relationship with any particular person, any situation? Did I check out the person? Did I do the homework before I trusted them? Or maybe you've been married to somebody 30 years and they cheated. Well, where do I live? What's my culture? What's the norm around me? Because that norm is affecting us, whether we know it or not, through the silent, secret airwaves of the soul. Where we live, we're going to be influenced whether we like it or not. And you have to be super righteous to push off the negativity in a negative world. So the pain of rejection is really, it's part of the detachment from an illusion. The illusion of a relationship, the illusion of a hope or a dream, the illusion of a level that I have yet to achieve that maybe I thought I did. Maybe I think I'm above rejection. How dare you reject me? That's a pretty big ego, right? You know, people get rejected the moment they're born. They're rejected, their mother gets pregnant sometimes. What's a person to do? My mother, didn't want me. I was born in a bad time and place in her life. That happens to millions of people every day, especially in a permissive culture. So what do? Well, you say, well, maybe I'm here to experience this sense of rejection, which there's no worse rejection than the rejection of a mother for a child. But maybe I'm here to experience that in order to develop a greater capacity for compassion for others who have also been rejected. So if we remember that rejection is just God's way of redirecting us to a better, stronger, clearer relationship with Him and with the world. And it's never personal. If you look deep enough at the people that reject us, they're not deep enough to think about that it's personal. They're acting on a autopilot system of their own needs and calculations. They're not thinking of who we really are, who they really are. They're not seeing it like, well, maybe my friend doesn't want to go, do some crime. Maybe my friend doesn't believe that it's okay to go to a nightclub when you're a married guy and you know what's going on in those clubs. So the rejection is just God's hand coming down and saying, no, you're better than this. You're better than the people that are rejecting you. Now, King David, the greatest king who ever lived, he had a lot of children, and well, we know the story that Bathsheba, one of his wives, was going to produce the next king, King Solomon. But in the meantime, he had older brothers that really wanted to be king. And Avshalom was one of them. And Avshalom rejected his father. He formed a coup against his own father. Is there any greater rejection that a son rejects the father who's the greatest king, who's given his life for the people and his family? No. Well, King David, he did the right thing. He went off and prayed alone and cried out to God for the soul of his son, because he knew that by the sin of rejecting your father and trying to take the kingship out of your father's hands while he's alive, what greater sin is that? So King David went immediately to pray for him and screamed for him and cried for him. And the sages say he cried and screamed so much that he lifted Avshalom out of the 7 levels of hell. Now we know there's a lot more levels here in this world, but they're out there. So whether you believe in hell here or there, it doesn't matter. It's the same hell whether or not you have the filter of your body or not. But King David prayed for the very person who tried to take his kingship. He knew it wasn't personal. He knew that his son made himself available to an evil spirit of jealousy because he was part of kingship. But he wasn't going to be the next king, at least not in this lifetime. Maybe if he had resisted, he would come back and be another king of the house of David in generations to come. So you have to know it's not personal, it's godly. When you know that, my friends, when you know it's not personal, it's just from God, the pain is soothed. The rejection has disappeared. And what you do is you start to bring the land of the living, heaven, down here to where people die every day. Feeling rejected by God. Why would God create us if he was going to reject us? He might turn his back. He might turn his face. He's done that to the Jewish people a couple of long times in history. But that's over now. It's redemption. It's Gula of the individual, redemption of the individual, redemption of the community, of the nation, of the human race. The entire world is getting ready for a huge transition. Be ready. Free yourself from all those attachments. Attached to the one, the living, the only eternal being. God bless you all.